Hey guys, welcome back to the video. And welcome back to the video on Juarez Gunslinger. Now last time, we found out that Roscoe Bob Bryant went with Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid down to I forgot where. But anyway, moving on. I'm pretty sure that means that next we have to deal with Jesse James.
So, Bob Bryant got away?
I knew I'd never find him in South America.
Bolivia.
What about the other killer?
Yeah, you kinda glossed over that one.
Well, I found Jim not long after my showdown with Ringo. At the time, he was riding with the James Younger gang. Did I neglect to mention that?
Where's Jim? Who's Jim?
Jesse James? The greatest outlaw who ever lived?
Jesse and his kin rode with Quantrill when he raided Lawrence, Kansas, and killed near 200 people, boy.
Nothing great about that.
And from there, him and his brother went on to rob banks and trains from Kansas to Missouri.
Which is why there was such a rich bounty on their heads. 40 grand for both of them, dead or alive. That's one hell of a payday.
That was a really good payday.
I confronted them as they were robbing a train. Bullets were flying at me from every which way. But I knew I'd have to fight my way forward if I was gonna find this Jim.
No one here. Winston train robbery. On July 15th, 1881, a Chicago Rock Island Pacific Railroad train left Winston, Missouri. Soon after it started moving, Jesse and Frank James and Wood Height jumped on board into one of the passenger cars while Dick Little and Clarence Height entered the train from the other end. A conductor named William Westfall was collecting tickets in the passenger car at the time. The James brothers believed that in 1875, Westfall transported the Pinkerton agents who attacked their mother's house, wounding her and killing their half-brother. Jesse shot him in the back without warning, then approached him and shot him in the head. In that moment, Frank killed one of the other passengers, who may have decided to play hero and interfere with Jesse's shooting of Westfall. The train robbery was not profitable as expected, as the outlaws collected a mere $650. That's a lot of money. Infuriated, they jumped off the train and escaped. A posse pursued them, but the James brothers and their gang were gone with the wind. The meager haul led to dissension, and Frank eventually left the gang, leaving Jesse to defend for himself with the inexperienced outlaws that were left. Because of the murders, the governor increased the bounty on both their heads. Jesse recruited others into his gang, including the man who eventually would shoot him in the back for that bounty. Robert Ford.
Shoot that stupid son of a bitch!
Now wait a second. Now, how'd they stop this train in the first place?
Well, the James boys were experts at this.
We went all the way through. Legend was he could stop the train staring it down.
They hopped a freight train having heard there was a big payroll in the express safe. So I hopped the same train.
Oh, that was
The James Younger gang was decimated after that little fiasco they had in Northfield, Minnesota. So Jesse needed more men and took on the killer I was after, along with a host of others. I was hoping to find my man and put a bullet in his head. Climbing around that train, I must have swallowed 100 damn bugs before I reached
James
that...
Younger gang pulled the first train robbery west of the Mississippi.
Sounds like you hold them in high regard.
Everyone knows they were the most famous outlaw gang ever.
And you took them all on by your lonesome. Again. I'm finding this all a little hard to swallow, friend.
Well, maybe you need to wash it down with some whiskey. By the way, did I mention that that train was flying down those tracks like a bat out of hell?
Jesse James. Jesse Woodson James is probably the Wild West's most celebrated outlaw. He was famous when he was alive, but attained the status of a legend upon his death. Despite enjoying a reputation worthy of Robin Hood, when the facts of history are examined, it's clear he wasn't much more than a thief and a murderer. As a teenager, Jesse and his brother Frank fought as Confederate guerrillas during the Civil War, alongside the infamous William Quantrell. Oh, where'd he go? There it is. William Quantrell and his raiders. Some believe Jesse took part in the massacre of some 200 men and boys in Lawrence, Texas, Kansas State. After the war, Jesse, like many disaffected former Southern sympathizers, turned into banditry and continued to wage his own private war. Until 1876, Jesse, Frank, and the Younger brothers robbed banks and trains as the James Younger Gang. Their legendary run came to a bloody conclusion when they tried to rob the First National Bank of Northfield, Minnesota. Two of the gang were left dead. Cole Younger ended up in prison. Only Frank and Jesse escaped unscathed. A little interesting fact about that. They spent a long time. The reason it backfired so tremendously is because they were trying to get into the vault in the bank. The only thing is, they were under the impression that it was on a time lock. They tried everything but literally just opening it. Anyway, it's going to be 3 years later. Jesse James founded a new gang. But these new members weren't battle-hardened war veterans. Frank had left the gang, and without his sure hand, just became paranoid and mistrustful of his partners in crime. His concerns were all well-founded, however, as someone he trusted betrayed him the most grievously. On April 3rd, 1882, after breakfast with his family, Jesse decided to wipe some dust off a photograph hanging on the living room wall. He unbuckled his revolver belt and climbed a chair while his friend, Robert Ford, hoping to collect a bounty, pulled a bullet in the back of Jesse's head. Thus, Jesse James joined Wild West luminaries like Wild Bill Hickok and John Wesley Hardin, who died from a gunshot in the back. I don't think people realize at that point that, killing them like that tended to just make them even more legendary. It was like a murder.
You don't want to mess.
Oh, crap. Boom, boom, boom. will keep the Rangers. I like the Rangers better.
Anyway, excuse me, Ben. Where would I find the gentleman's facilities? Suddenly I have an urgent need to drain my one-eyed snake. Well, I've had more than a few drinks, and I've been sitting here for quite a spell.
Right through there. Let me show you. I never heard so much malarkey in my life.
You think he's bullshitting us?
You don't think he's Silas Greaves?
I think he's just some old drunk looking for some free liquor.
I don't know, Jack. I think I believe him. You don't think he met Jesse James?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That story makes no sense at all.
Jack.
I mean, you gotta be 2 bricks short of a load to believe that cock and bull story.
I don't agree.
Jack, lay off the
You
bone.
seriously think that tired old man went toe-to-toe with Jesse James?
Well, that's better.
Coming back.
Did I mention that this Jim was married to the infamous Belle Starr? Of course, I didn't learn that until later. Anyway, I made my way forward the best I could. Around the sides, over the roof.
Jim Reed and Belle Starr. Not much is known about Jim Reed other than the fact that during the Civil War, he was a member of Quantrell's Raiders, just like the James brothers and the Youngers. After the war, he rode for a time with Sam Starr's gang and later with the James Younger gang. He died in 1874 in Paris, Texas, from a gunshot wound. Today, he's probably better known as the first husband of the infamous Belle Starr, the Bandit Queen. They met as teenagers, and Belle gave birth to 2 of his children. Belle Starr, or Mary Mabel, Myra Mabel Shirley Reed Starr, also knew the Youngers and the James brothers. After Jim's demise, she turned to banditry, taking part in horse and cattle thefts and protecting other criminals, thus earning the moniker of the Queen of Bandits. The peak of her criminal activities was during her marriage to Sam Starr. It is said that after Jim Reed's death, and before she married Starr, she was Cole Younger's wife for 3 weeks. There's no solid evidence backing this up, however. Belle Starr was infamous for her impeccable style. She was usually seen riding a horse side saddle, wearing a stylish black dress, with 2 revolvers and an ambo belt around her hips. She died in unusual circumstances 2 days before her 41st birthday, in 1889. An unknown murderer shot Belle off the horse she was riding with her shotgun and shot her again. The Bushwhackers' identity is still a mystery. Starr's own son is among the prime suspects, as the Bandit Queen was a rough woman to live with. Said son was a bandit himself, and then became a lawman only to die in a saloon shootout in 1896. His sister, Pearl, plied the world's oldest trade and ran a bordello in Fort Smith, Arkansas from the 1890s until the First World War. I didn't know that.
At some point, some bitch saw me and shouted out, "It's the damn Pinkertons!"
Damn Pinkerton!
Now, I never worked for that limey cocksucker, but I guess they assumed I was one of his assassins. Those evil bastards firebombed Jesse's mother's house and killed his stepbrother. So it's no wonder each and every asshole on that train wanted me dead.
Everybody's always mistaking you for somebody else, aren't they? Why is
Thanks.
that, I wonder?
Jack distracted me.
me know, Jack. I'm just telling you how I remember.
I bet you are.
Take a look. Oh gosh.
I came across a flat car piled high with logs and had to come up with a creative way to make my way forward. I wondered if I was ever going to find the front of that train, or the bastard I was after. Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Here's a nugget.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Whoa. Back to one gun for a little bit.
Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
Ah.
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Dang it. I've been carrying dynamite this whole time. Jack needs to pay more attention.
Right about then, I was attacked by some asshole on a Gatling gun.
But the Pinkertons. The Pinkerton National Detective Agency, known as simply as the Pinkertons, or Pinks by the less favorably inclined, was founded in Chicago by Scottish expatriate Alan Pinkerton. Pinkerton became famous when he supposedly foiled a plot to assassinate President-elect Abraham Lincoln en route to the first inauguration. As a Union spy master, Pinkerton later founded what became the United States Secret Service. Pinkerton detectives offered a wide range of services, from personal protection to private military contracts. At the peak of its power, the agency's roster numbered more than the total active strength of the United States Army. Nobody liked the Pinkertons, but they were especially hated and feared by the outlaws of the Wild West. The railroads and banks paid top dollar for the agency to pursue criminals like Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch and the James Younger Gang. Capturing Jesse James was an obsession of Alan Pinkerton, and later became a personal vendetta. On July 25, 1875, he organized an assault on the home of Zerelda Samuel, Jesse James' mother. The attack, which employed incendiaries among other means, caused death of Jesse's 8-year-old half-brother, Archie James. The resulting explosion also cost Zerelda an arm. Such a shameful attack on the mother and little brother turned public opinion against the agency and won the James gang in new sympathizers. Jesse James, Alan Pinkerton explained afterwards that he never planned to set the James house on fire. In fact, turned out to be a complete lie, as later recovered a letter written in his own handwriting read, "Burn the house down."
Yeah, seems like you run into a lot of them.
Asshole?
Gatling guns.
Yes, I did. Now, I don't remember how I took it out. It was either a bullet or dynamite.
Where would you find dynamite?
Does it really matter, Jack? You're messing with the flow of the story here.
Boom.
I was looking for Jim and shooting any son of a bitch stupid enough to get in my way. And that included Jesse James himself.
Back where we started, I think.
There sure were a lot of men determined to die that day.
Hello.
It was then that Jesse detached the express car from the rest of the damn train. I could see Jesse waiting for me, fixing to kill me so he could get away with all that money.
You had a showdown with Jesse James?
Of course he didn't. Everybody knows that Jesse was killed by Bob Ford.
Yeah. Jesse went out like John Wesley Hardin. Coward shot him in the back of the head.
Guess it doesn't matter how far you run, does it, Ben? Your past always catches up with you.
Boom.
Yeah, I didn't kill Jesse James. Just wounded him bad enough to convince him to hang up his guns.
What about that Jim fella? What happened to him?
I figure he was up front with a gun to the engineer's head. That bastard slipped away again. I'll tell you how I got him. But first I need to wet my whistle.
Honorably wounded to the point where he decided to hang up his guns. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. I certainly did. Like, share, subscribe, and, well, have a good one. Adios.